What's up, YouTube comic collectors? This is Bat Cave Comics. I'm back for a contest video. And this video is for the 88Jester 100 sub contest. Rules are pretty simple and pretty much the same. 18 and over, gotta be subbed. And he wants you to show or tell how you've changed as a collector over the years. That could be an extremely long video. I've gone through a ton of different phases as a collector. But I'll get started by saying congratulations to the 88Jester, 100 subs. That's awesome. That's what I'm trying to reach right now. If you haven't checked this guy out, check out his channel. He's got great videos. Really good for this community. So let me get into this video because it could definitely be lengthy. And I'm going to try to shorten it up as much as I can. So, when I was a young man and started collecting, I basically started collecting comics mostly for the reading content. So I'd pick up a book, kind of like this Moon Knight #1. Thought the cover was pretty cool, thought it'd be a good story. And that's pretty much how a lot of my collecting started. That's not how I started collecting, but that's how my collecting started. Then after a while, I would start trying to collect like series, like a lot of the collectors these days do, where they want to get every book in the collection. And I was buying a lot of, books within series to try to get the whole sets. But I've kind of gotten away from that a little bit, because as I grew as a collector, I started collecting books, noticing books were becoming valuable. So then I started collecting a little bit more for the value purposes. And that doesn't necessarily mean key books, which then again, it does kind of mean key books, because those are the ones that were valued or valuable. But back years ago, you would check out, wall books. You really didn't know why a lot of them were valuable as a young kid, but you seen a nice price tag on them, you kind of wanted them. So anyway, I started taking a little bit more care of my comics, reading them a lot less. And then the value portion of me collecting kind of changed into collecting key books. The ones that with the first appearances, changing of costumes, 30-cent variants, whatever a key might mean to you. That's kind of what I had changed to after other years. And I did that for a while, and it was good. I built up a pretty good collection, accumulating some of those books. I've shown them in some of my other videos. If you haven't seen some of my other videos, please go check them out. My tongue ain't working right tonight for some reason. So then after that, I got into kind of different companies a few years back. And I was buying books like Gold Key. This is Trag and the Sky Gods #1. Super nice condition. But I was getting into different kind of comic book companies. I was buying a bunch of older Gold Key, like Magnus Robot Fighter, Turok, I picked up some Ripley's Believe It or Not, books like this here, and various different titles in the Gold Key, because Gold Key's not around any longer. And my philosophy was, hey, if you want a great collection, might as well pick up some books that you don't that aren't really not aren't out there anymore. So I was buying quite a few Gold Key stuff, different titles, pretty some different condition. Like before, when I started collecting keys, condition didn't really matter to me. As I grew, condition's almost everything now. So if you look at some of these books, like this one, Moon Knight, super nice condition. That's the bag with all the wrinkles. And I probably have 4 or 5 Moon Knight number ones. Then Gold Key. And then I got a little bit into the Atlas comics. And I was just picking up the number one Atlas. Another one. Super nice condition. And of course, Image, when they first came out, you were buying every issue of Image, which kind of killed your pocket and comic collecting a little bit. So I started getting into other different companies. And then I'd say about 10 years ago, I thought I made a very, very important decision in my collecting. And that was, I started buying high grade Bronze Age books, maybe 10, 15 years ago. And this was before they really took off and the value of them skyrocketed on a bunch of these. I was picking up books like this, John Carter, Warlord of Mars, number one, in fantastic condition. If it doesn't get too blurry, for like 99 cents. And I was buying a lot of these on eBay. I was noticing Silver Age was getting a little out of control, a little out of my price range. And my thought was, you know what? Bronze Age is going to be the next Silver Age. So I started buying a lot of these Bronze Age books, like John Carter number one. I have a couple of these. Richard Dragon, Kung Fu Fighter, DC number one. I mean, look at the condition of this. And like I said, 10, 15 years ago, you could pick these up for almost nothing, you know. The Eternals, number one, beautiful condition. I got a couple of these, but excuse me. And it just wasn't number ones either. I was buying the best condition Bronze Age I could find. And most of them were, well, not most, all of them were not graded. You know, they were just raw copies of the best condition ones I could find. So then, after a while, you know, of course, you were picking up number ones when they first came out. New Mutants number one. I probably have about 5 of these in near mint condition. Well, most of them are in near mint. Same thing with Kazar. I probably have 5 or 6 Kazar. Thing number one, 5 or 6 of those. Saga, Swamp Thing, I have 4 or 5 of those. So I have a bunch of number ones from pretty much the Bronze to Copper Age. So I had submitted some to CGC and really wasn't popping the 9/8 that I wanted, like everybody wanted. So then my collecting started changing again to now. And now I go after high dollar keys, which I'm not going to show any here. I think you guys have seen a bunch of them that were out of my price range at earlier in collecting. Now I've kind of figured out a way how to produce some capital to purchase some of those, and I have. But another important thing I've started collecting, guys and ladies, which this is probably some very, very good advice to a lot of you collectors. Maybe some of you guys know, maybe some of you guys don't. Maybe you think this is an interesting fact. Maybe you guys think I'm full of shit. Who knows? But I'm going to tell you anyway. So not only have I started collecting high dollar keys, pretty much in a condition I can afford, I also started collecting Bronze Age graded 9.8s. Because you could still get some of these. And I'm not talking key issues here. I'm just talking a lot of your ordinary Bronze Age issues in your X-Men titles, in your Avenger titles, in your Fantastic Four titles. All your major titles like that. There are a lot of Bronze Age books that are not keys. Some of them have a little bit of key stuff going on. Like this is the first appearance of the Elements. Okay, a 9.8. And that is, you know, one of the more rare comic shop editions. I think I picked this book up here for like $30. Already graded at a 9.8. And I've bought not a ton, but I've bought quite a few. And I also pick up kind of, I guess you would say, the Copper Age 9.8s that show like battle covers with major superheroes and major villains going against each other. And I've bought quite a few of those too. Some of you pay, I'm going to say the average price I've paid is between 50 and $100 for already graded. Already graded. Some of them you can get cheaper. I've bought some of them for $30. You know, like this one right here, Avengers 172, 9.8, great Hawkeye cover. I bought this one for $25, $25. Some of these other ones, like I've shown that before, that was a little more expensive, but still, a Bronze Age 9.8. Bought this one too, and I think I got those for under $100 a piece. Also bought this one here, Hex 9.8. I also have a ungraded one, and this one here wasn't very expensive either. I can't remember what I paid for it, but I want to say around $30-$40. You know, this one right here, I think I paid $50 for. 9.8. But that's, as a collector right now, that's more what I'm focused on, is getting a lot of these books at 9.8. And like I say, you know, a lot of them aren't major keys. X-Men 155, first appearance of the Brood, 9.8. And to me, I don't care who grades it. I like all the companies. I buy them all. If I see it and it's a 9.8, I buy it. You know, because sometimes you can get them cheaper from a different company. But that's it, folks. That's how I've changed as a collector. And where I'm at this point is picking up the big dollar keys when I can find the right deal, and buying Bronze to Copper Age comics already graded at 9.8. Because I don't care if it's a key issue or not, these books, like Silver Age, are going to go up in value. Any Silver Age comic you pay a few dollars for, key or not, unless it's destroyed. That's why I've been buying 9.8, so I have pretty much the premium quality comic. Because 9.9s and 10s are almost unheard of. Everyone shoots for the 9.8. You don't hear hardly anybody, look at this book. This should grade a 10. No. What do they say? Oh, this should get a 9.8. That's what people are shooting for, because that's going to be the most possible highest grade to achieve. But that's it, folks. It's been 16 minutes. I really appreciate you guys coming to check my video out. My contest for the Jester 88, or the 88Jester, I'm sorry. The 88Jester 100 sub contest. This is my entry. Thanks, everyone. Please hit the like button. Sub me up. I'll sub you back. And like I always say, keep making those videos. I'll keep watching.